I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're excited to introduce you to an amazing author. His name is Skip Ashworth. He has written a thrilling adventure called Josh and the Skeleton Christmas Eve Discovery. This gripping tale unfolds on a snowy Christmas Eve in Oklahoma, where young Josh and his dog Flash stumble upon a mysterious skeleton in an old pickup truck. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Authors Reputation Press for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Skip, great to see you here today.
I'm glad to be here.
Loved your book. I love kind of dark, scary Christmas stories. I guess it's kind of the season. It's snowy. It's dark early. There's something mysterious about it. And if you think of the classics like A Christmas Carol or It's a Wonderful Life, they're all kind of dark, actually. Tell us a little bit about your inspiration for Josh and the Skeleton Christmas Eve Discovery.
Well, it was kind of like the perfect storm. I typically have collected newspaper articles in case I wanted to use it for the future. And I had clipped out an article about a pickup truck in the general area where I live off into the road. But then one morning, I just woke up in that first chapter about Josh and the taking the hot shower, all just came together. And when I took writing classes, they always said that a book will take its own character. And I have to say, I truly experienced that.
Mhm.
Once I started, it just kept going and unraveling. I'm not one that has a plan ahead. I just go with the flow. And like I said, it was a perfect storm.
Awesome. So a little inspiration came to you. The words just started flowing, the ideas, and you just put it down on paper. And we're glad you did. It's a terrific book. Now, the Cheyenne legends are an important part of the story. Were you familiar with those prior to writing the story? And tell the folks a little bit at home how they play a role in your tale.
No, I had to do research. And ironically, I wrote a lot of the book while drinking nice coffee in Starbucks or in the library in Clinton, Oklahoma. I was coaching and teaching in Clinton at the time, and my wife was still back. So I had back in Oklahoma City. So I had a lot of time, and I would go into the Clinton library, and that's where the Cheyenne area is right now.
Mhm.
And I would research it. As a matter of fact, my wife and mother-in-law at the time were unhappy that I didn't make the boy Chickasaw. That's what my wife is. But I told them, well, your folklore is not quite as interesting as that of the Cheyenne. And I did go out and research a little bit, trying to make it fit into the Chickasaw Nation, but it didn't. The There's an area in Oklahoma called Red Rock Canyon, and that's the general geography that I have the story taking place in that Cheyenne land. So I would go out and drive around and make sure my facts were straight, and he stayed with the Cheyenne. So
Sounds great. Sounds like you had fun writing this book, spending time in Starbucks, having a nice coffee, pounding it out, going to the library, exploring parts of the Cheyenne Nation. So that all sounds great. Did you have a dog with you similar to Flash? Because that's such a great part of the story as well, that Josh and Flash have this great relationship. Tell us a little bit about that. Is that based upon your own experience, your own real life?
it was based on a dog that we did have. I have five children, and when people wanted to get rid of dogs, they always thought we should have dogs, so they would give them to us. But Flash is kind of identified after a dog that we had called Maggie, and that particular dog could jump over a 6 foot stockade fence. So it's somewhat based on a dog that I've had.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha. Well, it's great imagery, the pickup truck, the dog, Josh, and of course, the setting itself, Oklahoma on a snowy Christmas Eve. It's very, very unique. Now, obviously, this is an atmosphere and a location you know quite well.
Yes, I do. I've hiked in the Red Rock Canyon quite a bit. And as it says on the cover of my book, I taught a class for 18 years called Oklahoma History on the Road. And we would cover 3,300 miles in almost all the counties in 2 weeks. I would take about 15, 16 kids, and they would get credit for Oklahoma history. So I know places in Oklahoma better than some people from Oklahoma do. I'm a transport into Oklahoma.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Well, it is a beautiful state. I'm sure that was interesting research along the way. A central theme of your book, of course, is confronting fears. What message do you hope young readers take away from Josh's journey?
That they should seek guidance from others, especially adults. Uh, in the case of all Native American tribes, it would be their elders, and they're better seeking that advice rather than holding it in and letting it fester within them, that they would feel free to find an elder that they could confide in to give them good guidance.
Absolutely. Now, the mysterious black crow in the story holds significance. Without giving away too much, can you discuss a little bit about its role in the plot and its symbolism?
Well, in the Cheyenne legends, their folklore, crows are messengers. And as it says in the book, his grandfather, who he lived with, who had passed away, told him to pay attention to the messengers, which initially he wasn't doing. He was kind of putting it off. But the crow is very significant, and I'm in the process of writing a sequel to it. And that crow is still motivating him to find out who the chain that he finds at the end of the story in the pickup belongs to. Um, Back in the time that the book took place, it was not too well acceptable that there would be intermarriages between Native Americans and the whites. And that's part of the background of the story. And he's being pushed to find out who that necklace was supposed to go to.
So that's going to be book two that you're
Yes,
writing right now. How far are you into that writing?
about 28 chapters. It's
Okay,
a
well,
little long.
that's
It's a little longer book than the first one.
okay. Sounds great. Now, have you envisioned Josh and the skeleton as a movie or a series, perhaps?
Yes, Author Representation Press is trying to make that happen as we speak.
That'd be wonderful. That'd be wonderful. It's such a visual story. It's kind of such a classic tale, if you will, that I think it would be a great movie, or series, of course. Tell me a little bit about your experience as a writer. Is this your first time trying your hand at writing a novel?
No, I've written a lot. I've had a lot of what is called starts, and I've
Mhm.
written a lot. But one day my wife said to me, you don't ever submit anything because you're afraid of getting rejected. And I said, well, I'll show you. I'll just go ahead and finish this one and I will submit it. And that's how it happened.
That's great. There's nothing better than a dare from your wife to put an idea into action. That's for sure. Is she your first reader when you're done writing something? Do you say, "Hey, honey, take a look at this. What do you think?"
Initially, no, because I took a class with a Dr. Cliff Warren, who used to be a critic for movies besides teaching writing. And he would always recommend not sharing the story with others because then you already told the story. But as I've gotten older, I do let her read stuff. I never learned how to type, and I'm old school. And my oldest grandchild actually typed up a lot of my manuscript,
Mm,
and she lost part of it, so I had to rewrite it again. And
mm.
she was actually the first one to see it. It was my oldest granddaughter.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, she was a blessing because she did the typing for you, but she put a little extra work on you because she lost part of it. That must have been a little devastating when you heard those pages were missing. Holy cow.
Yes.
I'm on your side. I type like this. I type for a living and I write for a living. I've always done the hunt and peck method, we like to
That's
call
me.
it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Skip Ashworth has written a wonderful book. It is a thrilling adventure called Josh and the Skeleton, Christmas Eve Discovery. It is a gripping tale that unfolds on a snowy Christmas Eve in Oklahoma, where Josh and his dog stumble upon a mysterious skeleton in an old pickup truck. There's lots of great imagery. There's lots of great story here. It's a thrilling adventure. And good news, if you enjoy this book, book two is coming out in the not so distant future. Skip, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
I appreciate it. I enjoyed it, as a matter of fact.
I'm glad you did, and I appreciate your time. I enjoyed our talk. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.